Crazy story, y'all. So while I'm sitting here waiting, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. So it was New Year's. We had it at our house. We had a party, right? And y'all, guess what? The next morning we woke up, there was a man in our yard. Y'all, he was on some crazy ass exotic shit. When I say exotic, I mean like, oh, I hear a baby's heartbeat. Someone's getting an ultrasound. Um, he was on something that was crazy. So basically, let me tell you the story. So I'm asleep with my son, and my husband wakes up because he hears something, and then y'all hear that? I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a baby heartbeat. So beautiful. So my husband wakes up because he hears all this noise in our yard, and mind you, we live in a gated community, okay? Um, so my husband hears all this noise in our yard, and he's like, what the hell is this noise? So basically he goes and he's like, he looks in the yard and there's a man in our yard, and he's breaking into our shed. And my husband was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And then the guy's like on drugs, and he's like looking at him, and he don't give a fuck. And my husband like, hey, get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm gonna do something to your ass, you know? Like, my husband's a landscaper, so he has like a lot of expensive tools and shit. And he ends up going to wake me up, and he's like, hey babe, there's someone in the yard and all this stuff. So then when we go back out there, the guy drops his pants, y'all. No cap. He drops his pants and he starts boo-booing all over our yard. Can you believe that? I couldn't believe it. It was like some shit you cannot make up. And I'm telling my husband, don't go next to him with his dirty ass hands. Okay, at least we're right here, and you know that he's not taking nothing. Why even, like, you know, like, go next to him, and we're right here, we're watching him. So if he does walk out with something, then you know. And I'm telling him, just chill out, babe. Like, you know, and my husband's already getting pissed off. And I'm like, you know what, let me just make a report and tell him, because we have a lot of kids in our fucking community. So I'm like, let me call him, including my own, damn it. And I'm like, let me go ahead and call the police and tell him, hey, there's this guy, he's high off of something. He was in our yard 30 minutes, y'all. No cap. No cap. No cap. There ain't no making this shit up. It's like some real, like, real crazy shit. Um, so yeah, while I'm waiting at the doctor's office, I thought I would share this story. So it's some real crazy shit, y'all. So basically, we're waiting and waiting, and I'm like, okay, y'all, this man is in my yard. He's on drugs. I'm scared because he just exposed himself. Um, to there's hella kids in our community, you know, and this man does not give a fuck. So can y'all hurry up and come get his ass, because we ain't touching him, y'all. He didn't even wipe his hands. He shit it all over my yard. And my husband said like, hey bitch, clean it up, like, you fucking crackhead, and all this shit. And it was some crazy ass shit, y'all. The police took 40 minutes to get there. The guy was there for about 35. Dead ass. He left. He cut the corner on one of our streets and he was gone. Left his boo-boo and left. Y'all, he was on some type of shit that didn't make him coherent to English or Spanish. My husband was, hey puto, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I was shocked. I was in shock, y'all. My son was asleep the whole time, thank goodness, because my son is real nosy, you know? He's 3, so he's real always curious. Thankfully, he was asleep. But this guy ends up getting in the shed, y'all. He ends up getting in the shed. He locks himself in there, and he's throwing his body all over the shed. He's like throwing his body all over the shed, and he's trying to knock the shed down to get to the other side, y'all. No cap. Like, I could not make this up even if I wanted to. It was like some crazy, crazy thing I've ever experienced in my whole entire life. I have no words to say, like, to what we experienced that morning. It was something. Nothing like that has ever happened where we live. It's a gated community. So it definitely was memorable the first day of New Year's. The cops get there, right, and they're like, oh, which way did he go? Oh, he went that way. And I'm like, okay, so you're gonna go look for him before he goes touch a little girl or something? Because this guy is clearly on something, you know, he's fucking psychotic. And he actually, when he was leaving, the guy tried to come on our porch. And that's when my husband said, okay, like, if you come on my porch, I'm gonna end up shooting you because you're coming towards my wife and me aggressive. He was just walking up like he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And the guy understood that, but he didn't understand the whole 30 minutes before prior to get the fuck out my yard. So, you know, that tells me he's a listen when he wants type of person. And so he listened to that because my husband was armed, and you know, like, he's fighting for his family. You never know what this guy can do. And the whole time he's grabbing his sweater, and I'm telling my husband, like, the police are clearly telling me on my phone, you cannot do nothing unless he's breaking into your house. And I'm like, well, does my yard count? They're like, no, he has to be breaking into your house. And I'm like, this is some shit. Like, this man is on something. At least he didn't take nothing. That's the bright side. We're all good. But the fact that he's loose in our neighborhood, yeah. So I hit up the security that used to work for our thing. She's a real cool girl. I'm not gonna say her name, but let's just call her security. And I told her the situation. She put up on me in the golf cart, and she was like, hey, what happened? I told her everything, show her the pictures, because we got cameras, y'all. We got cameras, and I show her everything, y'all, and she was fucking amazed. She was like, what the fuck is going on? Happy New Year's, by the way. And I'm like, girl, it ain't happy, okay? And y'all, so it ends up turning out that this guy burned one of the houses down that we live in our gated community, y'all. So that tells me, and that was on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, he burned that shit down. So you're telling me for New Year's Eve to New Year's Day that he's been in our community, and mind you, he was squatting in the house that burned down. So you're telling me he's been there over a week and nobody noticed, even after this house burnt down? That's There's 250 houses where we live, and you're telling me that no one noticed this crackhead, or I'm the first person that he chose to go in their fucking yard? Is Wow. I have no words. I have no words. It was a disgusting, disturbing situation. The police didn't do shit, of course. I wasn't really relying on them, but I was like, God damn, where is he coming from? I'm worried. I'm more worried about the fucking kids, you know? Fuck, like, fuck everything else. It's about the kids. We have kids, and it's winter break. Winter break, and all these damn kids are on their scooters, their bikes, and this guy clearly does not give a fuck. He's on drugs. So it was like some crazy fucking movie you cannot make up. Like, I'm gonna put a picture of his ass up in this video because we ain't playing that. Basically, he just disappeared. The lady texted me. Well, I got her. I guess her brother's the maintenance where we live, and she was like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna text him, see what we can do, find out where he is." I'm like, "Damn, you the detective girl, shit. You the, you know, something, shit. You got more connections than the damn police because they didn't give a fuck that this guy was on drugs and exposed himself and all of that, and that there's all these kids in our community."